Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Maria. Today's video is going to be about what has been going on since I passed my test. I feel like I haven't checked in a while, and I know many of you are starting to pass your test, so I want to make a video for you guys to watch about what's been going on, what's it like passing your test and moving on to the next step. I definitely want to touch on a few things today. I've been starting to work with my first buyer. I've been doing a bunch of training in my office and at home. Going into the office has been really fun because I'm starting to get to know the other agents. I did my first open house with my buyer. I've showed my buyer a ton of houses at this point. I've been putting in offers myself. A lot of good stuff that I want to touch on today. I'm also going to show you guys snippets because I was trying to do like vlog style. Every time I go to an open house with my buyer, I sit back in the car and let you guys know how it went. So I'll definitely be showing you guys that too. But before we begin, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe because I have a bunch of good stuff coming. Please turn on the bell notifications. I always post my videos Wednesday at 4 p.m. for future reference. I will put the prep agent link down below, and as always, you can email me any questions. But okay, so let's get into it. So at this point, I officially joined my brokerage, Signature Premier Properties, a month and a week ago. I had to fill out a bunch of paperwork. I had to pay dues, I had to pay fees. Definitely was kind of a good chunk of money. I'm sure all of you are gonna have to pay it wherever you are. There's like a lot of systems that you're gonna need to make logins for and know how to use, and I was definitely getting a tad overwhelmed with all of it. I definitely still don't know how to use every system, but I'm starting to get better with everything. I attended an office meeting, so it was definitely a lot to take in. I met a bunch of agents. All of the agents obviously weren't there because a lot of agents don't even go into the office. They're always out in the field. So I learned a lot of good stuff at the office meeting because once you enter real estate, I feel like laws and rules, they're always changing. So they're always trying to keep us up to date with the most recent laws and rules to make sure you don't get any fines. And at the office meeting, I did end up meeting my mentor. So I'm doing a bunch of trainings. I've done a couple of trainings in the office, but I've also been doing a lot of trainings at home via Zoom. My brokerage definitely offers like a lot of good trainings. Right now, I'm in the middle of a 5-week program. It meets 3 times a week, and it's basically slowly going over every single aspect of being a real estate agent. But before that started, my company offered something called a crash course. So it was basically a 3-day crash course, long day, learning how to become a real estate agent. So that training was like the quick version of how to become a real estate agent. And now I'm in like the slowed down version of how to become a real estate agent. But most of the people doing the training with me, they weren't really trying to take on any clients, any customers while they're doing the training because, you know, it is a good idea to just really learn what you're doing first and then apply. But because I have a connection to a mortgage lender, he ended up giving me my first buyer. He actually ended up giving me 2 buyers, but one of them didn't work out. So right now I've been working with a buyer, even though I'm still in the middle of training. So because of that, I contacted my broker. I told her I'm taking on this buyer, so please give me a mentor, and she did. I've been getting to know my mentor. She's been super, super helpful. I have been taking my buyer out by myself. So I felt like I was kind of just thrown into it in that aspect, but in reality now I understand why she had me just bring the buyer out by myself. Besides bringing the buyer out myself, she's been helping me do everything. Like now I know how to write an offer, now I know how to talk to them. I already know a lot of what I should and shouldn't be saying. So basically, now that I've seen like 10 to 15 houses with my buyer at this point, it's really not that hard going out with the buyer. It's actually kind of fun because I don't know, I like to look at the houses too. It's fun. Hey guys, so I am out right now. I just got done showing my buyer a house. Unfortunately, I couldn't line up the schedule to do it back to back, so I have about an hour to kill. So my buyer really, really liked the house, but it's definitely not going to be that simple for us to get. I already know that. My lender knows that. So I'm just waiting around right now. I'm going to show her some more houses later. So for the first house that we saw, the seller was home, so they let us in. But while I'm waiting, I am going to be calling one of the listing agents because I did not receive instructions on how to get into the house. I don't know if the seller is going to be home. I don't know if there's a combo. The other 2, because we're going to see 3 houses later, the other 2, one of them, the listing agent's going to be there to give us the tour. And the other is Century Lock, which if you don't know what that is, there's basically an app on your phone that you pay for. And when you walk up to the door, there's going to be a little lockbox on it with the key inside. You use the app to open up the lockbox so you can get the key and open up the house. So yeah, I've already invested in that a month into being a real estate agent. There's already a lack of inventory to begin with, so if I find something that my buyer might like, I can't have that stopping me from not showing her the house. Definitely, I recommend doing that. I'm gonna end up making a video dedicated just to working with my buyers and like how that has went so far. When you take the buyers out, basically you're just seeing like if they like it. They need to like it. They're gonna walk around. It's fun to walk around with them. You can ask the listing agent certain questions. You can be more friendly if you feel like it, but you just have to be careful with what you can and can't say. If anything, planning the route is more annoying and like stalking MLS for inventory because there's such a lack of inventory with COVID. That's probably more annoying than actually taking the buyer out. But luckily, I mean, my buyer's only really looking in one area, so that's been kind of good because I'm not driving all over the place, but like bad because that makes the inventory even harder to find when there's already a lack of inventory. So we have just finished up looking at all 3 houses or all 4 houses for today. And of course, she really likes the one that's going to be difficult to get. And the last 3 that I just showed her, she wasn't really feeling too much, so we're just gonna have to keep looking. This is the battle of being a real estate agent, guys. Buyers are typically very picky for obvious reasons. I mean, they're gonna live there, they wanna love it, and especially with COVID market, it's just super hard to work with buyers. How much money you have to over ask right now to get anything is like really crazy. It is a rough time for buyers right now. So, you know, we just got to keep looking. I'm not discouraged. I definitely feel like I can get this buyer closed and find her a house she likes. But after this, I'm 100% turning my focus to getting a listing. So yeah, I'm definitely going to make an entire video dedicated, like step by step, how to work with a buyer. So back to the trainings. My company offers excellent trainings. There's at least like 10 trainers that are like kind of an expert in different things. There's one person that I definitely plan on calling and like setting a half hour to spend time with. He seems like he is like amazing. Like he's literally a real estate wizard. He is like the master of scripts. So another thing, like when you start becoming a real estate agent, you want to be prepared, right? Like you want to have an answer to every question you could possibly have, so you sound prepared, especially when you're new. So this guy is like a real estate wizard, always has the perfect thing to say to like every single response. I mean, he's been in the business for literally years. And guys, like this is how you get business. You have to be personable. You have to be a people person. I will tell you right now, if you're not good with like one-on-one interactions, you need to get good at it. And especially when you're new, you're not going to know exactly what to say. You're going to be uncomfortable. Even if you don't 100% know what to do, you can definitely get business from being friendly, being personable, and at least knowing the basics. If someone wants to work with a realtor, that's because they're assuming that you know more than them and you have access to better resources than they do. You don't have to know every single answer. Like if you're not sure about something, you just say, oh, well, let me just double check with my broker and I'll get right back to you. And you are going to be calling your broker, your mentor, you're going to be calling them and asking them a million questions throughout like your first few transactions, like 100%. There's people in my company that have been there for 10 years, 20 years. They still ask the broker plenty of questions. Like the broker is supposed to be there for you and guiding you as best they can. All right, so let's see. So what's like a day in the life as a real estate agent? Well, basically my life has now turned into waking up and stalking MLS every single day and then going later in the afternoon and stalking MLS again for any new updates. Because, I mean, for those of you who maybe don't know how it is right now with the market, basically since COVID, everyone has been trying to move out of the city and either go to Long Island or go upstate. So basically, a lot of people want to move, but there's not a ton of people actually selling. So there's been a serious lack of inventory. There's been a lack of homes being sold for the amount of people that want to move. And that has made the purchase prices extremely high and has also made the market extremely competitive. It's an extreme seller's market right now. If you're able to get a decent house as a listing right now, you are going to make freaking money, okay? Because everything is going over asking price, literally everything. Very good for sellers, very bad for buyers. So that has been making it very tricky to work with my first buyer, but it's okay. I'm managing. I've been really patient. I'm really determined to close her and get my first deal done. So I'm actually waiting back to hear on an offer right now. We put in a pretty decent, serious offer, and I'm really, and she actually likes the house because she's been picky. I'm really hoping that it's gonna go through because it's been over 24 hours now. The other offers that I've put in for my buyer in the past have been denied like basically a few hours later, not even. So I'm hoping that her taking so long to get back to us means they're seriously considering the offer. So back to day to day. So you're going to be stalking MLS every day. You're going to learn what everything really means on MLS, which is helpful to you. My brokerage offers a ton of trainings via Zoom, or you can take your laptop and go to the office. You're going to be planning routes, and something that's good about MLS is whatever houses that you plan on seeing that day, there's a way to like see them on the map so you can plan the route accordingly. So you're not like over here and then driving all the way over here and then driving back down here. Like you can see them all on the map on MLS itself. So you can like plan the route that like you start here and you're going to end up closer to your house by the end of it. So that's really good for saving gas and saving time as well. You're going to be contacting agents. You're going to be using Showing Time. That's an app where you can schedule appointments to see houses, because a lot of houses want appointments now. It's not just go to the open house anymore. You're going to be, if you want, you can schedule appointments during the week, but obviously you should also be doing weekends. I've been doing weekends as well as during the week. Every time that you want to go see a house, also you should make sure to go on Google Maps and just check the surrounding area out, because you can save yourself a trip if, you know, maybe there's an abandoned lot across the street. You can ask your buyer, would you be into seeing that? And if the answer is no, then you might as well just save yourself the trip. Every time you spend a day seeing houses, I usually try to plan like 4 to 6. I know other people maybe do less because they feel like it's too overwhelming, but for me, I've been trying to do 4 to 6 houses every time we go out. The rule of thumb is after you spend a day seeing houses, you definitely need to follow up with them at night to see which ones they really liked after they had a little bit of time to think about it, and which ones they didn't like as much, because then you're going to use that to put the offers in. It's always good to ask the listing agent when the offers need to be in by, if it doesn't say it on MLS already. So far, I've written up a few offers. They're pretty simple to write up once you get the hang of it. I also definitely plan on trying to help with open houses. I've been asking my mentor if she has any open houses, but she hasn't yet. My company will send out mass emails to every single office and ask for help with an open house on a weekend, and I've been trying to jump on them because I want to go to an open house, see what it's like to be on the selling side, because right now I've only been on the buying side. And most of the time, if you go help with an open house, they are willing to compensate. So when they say compensate, they probably mean, you know, usually there's a sign-in sheet. So the selling agent might be willing to let anyone who helped with the open house look at the sign-in sheet and try to follow up with the buyers that weren't represented by a real estate agent, so you can get leads that way. I've also heard so far that when you go to an open house, a lot of the time buyers that don't have a real estate agent or people selling their own house will go and check the neighborhood out and check out the competition. And I've heard of people who got listings, got selling deals from just doing a good job and being friendly at an open house. They ended up saying, we really like the way you work. You know what? Why don't you come and be the listing agent on our property? So that has helped them get listings. And especially right now, listings are gold mines. Especially now more than ever, you need to get listings. I also do recommend setting up social media. I've been extremely lazy about it personally. You don't have to set up every single social media that exists, but maybe it would be good to have like at least 2. So for example, I'm setting up a Facebook business page, and I also did set up an Instagram, but I've been ridiculously lazy about it. So I may end up just doing this Facebook business page and maybe like a Google business page. They said that one's probably the most important one to have. So the last thing that I want to talk about, and I feel like this is super important, is like mindset. The most important thing about becoming a real estate agent is, I feel like, creating a successful mindset. So what do I mean by that? A saying that I've always heard is, look at the 5 people that you spend the most time with, and I will tell you who you are. I 100% recommend recommend just going into your office, talking to every single real estate agent if they're not terribly busy, getting to know people, asking every single real estate agent what their style is, how long did it take them to start working to really understand it. There's literally not just one way to be successful in real estate. Talk to as many real estate agents as you can, because you're going to learn what they do, how they do it, why it works for them, and you're going to create your own style, your own vibe, and you're going to see what works for you and what feels right for you. If you haven't yet, you need to work on your people skills, work on being friendly, knowing how to start conversations with strangers, because that's how you get business. From now on, everywhere you go, potentially be new business for you, literally everywhere you go. So you need to be able to know how to be friendly, know how to be personable. And guys, I am going to say this. I want you to understand that being a real estate agent, you need to get comfortable with not being comfortable. You're gonna make mistakes. You're not going to know what you're talking about. You're going to be in situations that you probably are not going to be 100% sure how to handle. You're not going to know what to say all the time. In order to become a successful real estate agent, I've basically already learned that you're going to have to get used to being uncomfortable and just taking a leap of faith and not always knowing what you're doing. And figure it out as you go. If you're able to shadow your mentor on literally everything, that's great. 100% go. That's the way I learned best. I've been trying to get to some open houses because once I see someone else do it, I got it. But in the meantime, that should not stop you. Just because you're not 100% sure doesn't mean that should stop you. You should always have someone to ask, and definitely try to have as flexible as a schedule as possible, because being a real estate agent, a lot of things are always changing. Plans are changing all the time. You need to be able to work on the fly. That's definitely a big recommendation, as much as you can. Obviously, it's not always possible, but as much as you can, try to be flexible, try to work on the fly. Surround yourself with it as much as you can, because if you really want to become a successful real estate agent, then go be around other successful real estate agents. You will catch the vibe. You will catch the vibe for success if you go and keep being around successful people. And also, guys, a big thing is practice makes perfect, okay? You're gonna make mistakes. Be comfortable with making mistakes. Be comfortable with feeling like you made a fool of yourself, because it's gonna happen. I've already experienced it. It's gonna happen. The other day, someone in my company accidentally sent their entire closing packet to literally every single agent in my company. The entire agency saw how much my brokerage made on the deal. So even now, even experienced agents are always making mistakes. It happens. You're not perfect. It's gonna happen. Just roll with the punches and keep going. But definitely practice makes perfect, and just surround yourself with it, because the more you surround yourself with it, the faster you will learn. And definitely just keep trying. Do not give up with it. You are gonna fail so many times before something actually works. There's a saying that goes, success is measured by how many times you can fail and get back up and try again. And that definitely rings true for real estate. But yeah, if you're still with me, thank you guys so much for watching. Please feel free to ask me any questions down below. I love hearing from you guys. This is a community. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, because I have tons and tons of things that I want to share with you guys that are going to help you and make your career more successful. I'll drop the prep agent link down below if you haven't passed your test yet. And that's it, guys. Stay tuned. See you next week. And again, please feel free to email me any questions. Okay, take care.